Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real 1%. It's your host, Michael Daly, and we're coming at you guys live with another veteran. We got my main man, Justin, here today. He's an Air Force veteran. He used to work on the F-16 flight lines. If you guys want to get an F-16 flight, my man knows how to get one. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned and listen in to hear how he got his flight overseas in the F-16. He also got out the military in Germany, which I also was over there as well. Can't go wrong in Germany. He got to actually attend the Cannabis Cup. So if you guys ever wanted to do something like that while you're in the military, we know that we cannot do that, folks. Get away with it. But my man got to experience that on his way home. But when he got home, he had something waiting for him, which was a foreclosure sticker on his mother's house. So we're going to get into that as well. So, you go from high times, as they would say, and then you go to a low point when you come across that water. So some other things I wanted to touch on to give him a proper introduction. He's deployed twice to Afghanistan. He went to Bagram and also Kandahar. He spent a year in Korea. That's where he got to ride on that F-16, which we'll touch on. He got base preference and spent his last 2.5 years in Germany. He went Spain, Turkey, Sweden, and he hiked across the fords in Norway, which I've always wanted to do. So I'm going to have to touch on that as well. It looks like he wasn't standing in line at the DFAC. He got his passport stamped, which we talked about on here before. So good for you. He's got his electronics engineer degree from Drexel University, and he's currently working for Comcast. So I know I went off a little tangent, but my man, Justin, how you doing today, brother?
Oh, it's been a pretty hectic Monday, but I'm managing.
All right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. This is really cool what you do.
I appreciate you. So for everyone out there, man, what made you join the Air Force? What's your backstory on that? Let's touch on that at first.
So I think I was like 14, and we got all the channels growing up. My dad was obsessed with cable, and it was I think it was the military channel, and they had Secret Weapons with that dude that was a Navy SEAL. That was like the most badass thing to me. I was like, all right, I know what I'm doing. I'm joining the military. And then I think it was like a couple years later, I found out my parents were getting divorced, and I was like, well, I guess now I really am joining the military. Like, I don't know. I was in like a rebellious, like, I don't really care about school. I wasn't motivated. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd sometimes. Just making the wrong decisions as far as like career development go. But I knew I needed the discipline, so I was willing. I was also excited because I think gadgets are fucking badass. And that's what I got to do. Went and played with a bunch of badass gadgets.
How'd you end up getting the job at the F-16, like the flight line? Did you get to pick that, or were you ASVAB score was good enough, or how'd that go?
Yeah, I had a really high electrical aptitude score, but I actually joined for combat control. I got through the indoctrination training, which is typically like the 2-week long hellfest that they put you through to make you break and quit, basically. I made it to the second portion, but I lied when I got in the military. I have I don't know, I shattered my collarbone. That's an old scar. It's from like 2007. But I have like 13 screws and a titanium plate there, and they had to take for your class 3 flight physical, they have to do an x-ray of your chest cavity to make sure that like you can halo jump, low, like the high altitude with low oxygen. Yeah, they saw that, and then they kind of like reprimanded me for it, but I missed the next training window. So I was stuck training with the guys that were about to go to CCS, the final leg. You know how you like in those various pipelines, you like go to airborne, come back, go to like scuba, combat dive, come back. Like I was with the guys that were waiting to go to the last leg, and these guys were fucking monsters. They were just endurance fiends, and I'm like trying to keep up. We were doing underwaters one day. It was where you stand on the shallow end of the pool, and then cadre will say go, and you have a minute and 30 seconds to get to the other side and back, but your first trip down has to be underwater, and that's your minute 30s underwaters. We were on lap 20, and I was just like, I took in water. I couldn't do that shit. So
you went to basic training and did that 2 weeks training after basic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the flight that we were in was like mainly combat control, TAC-P or pararescue people that were joining for that.
Okay. What did you do when they came at you about the chest X-ray? Did you just act like you didn't know what you're talking about, or what?
No, I was like, I fucking thought I'd be disqualified. So I was like, I was afraid. I wanted to join, and they were like, okay, well, if you send your medical records, we should be able to clear you. And they were able to do that like in a day because I called the hospital and they sent it. But yeah, I still got reamed for that. And then I got a failure to train, and they told me to come in my blues the next day after I didn't drown, but I like couldn't handle my shit in the water. But that was a really tough day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I'm in my blues. They're like, you can come back tomorrow, but we're gonna do it again. I was like, okay. I'll go think about it. I talked to my mom and I was like, I got to do something else. And so I asked to get reclassed. Come to find out, they the next day they had like a leisurely backpack hike, not weighted, just normal day. Because the previous day was like to plan really hard, yeah. Which you don't get a rest day in that pipeline. Just to give it an example.
How many people? What's the failure rate? Probably pretty high for that school, huh?
Oh yeah, like 92% failure rate. Yeah,
that's wild.
I think that might even be for Indoc. It was only me and one other guy that was enlisted that made it through.
That's wow. How many did you start with? Like 30, 40, 50 people or something like that?
Yeah.
So you got the reclass. You brought that up and told them that you wanted. Did you get to pick a job, or did they just place you where they wanted you?
I asked for SATCOM. I wanted to do shit with communications because I already kind of had in my head that it would translate well to telecom. But then when I got F-16 avionics instead, and I had a buddy, and I was like, "Damn, you want to switch?" And you can't switch. But he was like, "No, I want SATCOM." I was like just jealous. But then when I actually got to my duty stations and got to see how the F-16 flight line works, I was like, all right, this is actually pretty cool. It's hard though. You're a jet mechanic,
right?
You work long fucking hours, long ass hours. Oh my God, the grind at Hill Air Force Base. Well, now they have 35s, not F-16s, but Jesus, it was.
How was it? Because I told you I was a cook in the Army, and we got shafted pretty bad too. Like the MPs and the cooks always working, so it seems like you're in the same boat as us. What would it look like for you guys?
We had to like turn sorties, so you would have a day that you have 2 goes, where 16 sorties per go. So you have 32 jets that come down, like take off and land, and they're old. They're like 30 years old. And so you'd have like 6 that were broke dick. Some get like impounded, and like some are like daily, like someone is specifically tasked to that. They call that the Tiger team, but that's long. That's like the longest hours possible. Sometimes they'll give you a day off. If you like, if it was like broke dick and you came in and like fixed it, they would probably give you like, hey, everything related to code 1, go home. Code 1 being like, there's nothing to fix.
Rare occasion at that, right?
Yes.
So like 4-day passes and all that stuff when everyone else is living the life, you probably at work too some of the days, maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week, or how did that go for you guys? Yeah. And they're flying.
Yeah, we had night ops, so there was mid shift, there was swing shift, there was day shift. I didn't work day shift as much. I think I made a name for myself, like politically, when I arrived, that I was a loose cannon. So they had me on swing shift and mid shift. But I learned so much more on those shifts. Like, honestly, I was like, when I got to Korea after being at in Utah for 2 years, I was like the go-to guy. I was on the Tiger team. I was integrating with Lockheed Martin while they were doing TCP upgrades. TCTO upgrades, time compliance technical order. That was fun, rewarding. Korea, you worked so much more. And Hill was already busy. Korea had exercises. So put a gas mask on. We're sitting in this hangar till we're clear, and you don't want to fail. And because if you go out of the hangar, the whole like wing fails, and then everyone has to do it again the next week remedially to try and learn from your mistakes, that kind of shit. It's like,
I never went to Korea, man, but I heard you're always working. Like that's what, even in the Army, they say, they're working hard over there. Like cooks working, always in the field, always doing something. So I
I
mean, I
can
guess it's
imagine.
true for the Air Force as well, man. So you went from Hill, then you went to you got to ask to go to Korea, or they just put you on orders?
Uh, I think I could have declined it, but you can only do that once in your enlistment, and you don't get BOP. So like you lose
Okay.
that ability. And I was excited to get the order. So I was like, hell yeah, let's go. I'm ready for this. I was excited to leave Hill, even though it was like I was just getting like more so into my mountain biking and like snowboarding routes. I was finding to like branch out and just go.
Yeah.
Moab is dear to my heart. Moab is freaking awesome, but I was ready. I was ready just to get basic preference, which was also an encouragement. You get to travel to Korea and endure like base lockdown basically because everyone's living in dorms there.
Right.
And then you get to go wherever you want. And F-16s at the time had like bases in UK, Italy, California, Hawaii, Germany, which is where I ended up. My first selection was Italy, but I don't regret it. I'm glad I went to Germany.
Why so? Just was good time for you?
I actually ended up having a high school friend that lived like an hour and a half away. No, it was like 2 hours, maybe even 2.5 on the Autobahn too. He was like 2 hours away from the base that I was at.
That's not bad, dude. And you got to go to all the what did you like traveling before you got to Germany? Was it already something that you like to do, or did you get to Germany and sort of meet some people and say, let's start traveling? Because I was like you, man, I started getting that passport stamped up as much as I could.
Yeah. I made friends. Even when I was in Korea, like there was stuff that the community center would line up, and that was something I would always try and take advantage of. But then I kind of realized that, it's a little amateur hour. You can just rent the car and go do whatever you want.
Right.
Or in Germany, I had a car, so I was able to just go wherever. I lived in a village right next to base. He wasn't my landlord, but he lived below me. This guy was awesome. He was probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. But yeah, just being like in any of those worlds, I really tried to take it all in when I was traveling. Just getting to see the different types of culture and embracing it, having fun. Everyone's happy at those times. Man, those were good years.
What was your favorite place you went to?
Norway for sure.
Norway. Okay.
Yeah, Norway was
pretty sick.
epic. It was hard. I went and did. You know what Outward Bound is, or Northern Outdoor Leadership School?
No, honestly,
they're like organized backpacking trips essentially, or kayaking, different kinds of outdoor rec. It's organized week to 2 week long. I ended up doing a 9-day hike across the fjords, the Hardangervidda, which is like one of the plateaus between the fjords. It was like 20 miles a day. Man, it was tough. It was not easy. But there were like older people doing it because you don't have to camp out. You go to different lodges in the middle of nowhere. And you get to eat like fresh reindeer and fresh potatoes grown out in this field. It was surreal.
Yeah, I gotta get over there, man. I've been looking at like a cruise or something like that. But the best is just to get over there and like do something like you did. You know, get out there. Maybe not 20 miles, but I do like a couple of miles and get it going. But
DNT. I don't know what it stands for. Norway is one of them, but it's like the Norwegian trekking. But they have different things that you can sign up for. It's a little expensive because it's Norway currency. But when you do the math, it would be the same if you were to try to do it yourself. So, and I think they even supply the gear if you needed it, which is what Outward Bound does that too. But that's like more so stateside. Although they have some international programs too.
Okay, I'm about to look into that. What did you think you were gonna stay in the Air Force for like a career when you were in all these times, or did you know that you were gonna get out?
Hell no. I was like, this is unlocked potential. I joined because a lot of guys do this, or guys and gals. I think that when you join, you have this certain mood of like, screw this, I'm not staying in. But most of the guys I was friends with were like, I'm getting out. And half of them stayed in. But yeah, I was just doing it because I wanted to pay for college. I did 2 years of community college before I joined, but like I said before, I was kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd, so that didn't really count at all towards credits. But it took me 4 years after I got out. I got my degree in electrical engineering, so That's what I did. I put what's the expression? I put my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
Because people always talk about that. They're like, yo, I'm going to get out. I'm going to get my degree. And some people don't. They stop. They don't get the degree. And it's like, man, that's like that was what lured us in, was the GI Bill.
Dude, same for me. I'm not going to get student loans, or I try to work 2 different jobs, one at Pizza Hut and one in a retirement home. I'm like, this isn't going to cut it, dude. You know what I mean?
The post 9/11 GI Bill, I feel like they came out with that in like 2005. It was quick.
Yeah, like right around when we probably joined, right before we joined.
That was like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. And the BAH, I wouldn't have been able to do it. The BAH is what saved me. I didn't have a job.
Yeah, you're right.
Fucking engineering is hard as fuck. I couldn't do that. I couldn't work a job. I tried.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. I'm not that smart. Yeah, it was tough, man.
So how was it getting out the military from Germany? Because some people say it's rough getting out from overseas. Like, what did that process look like? And also, what did your plan look like for when you were getting out? Was your plan just get your college lined up and have the GI Bill like on standby as soon as you got on ground? Or, you know, what did those two things look like for you?
Yeah, that was the plan. Pardon me, sorry. That was the plan. I had a wrench thrown in there. My mom's basically when I got home from the flight back from Amsterdam, because what I did, I out processed and then I went to Brussels and then took the train to Rotterdam and then Amsterdam with a few of my friends. And then I got home from my flight though. I took a red eye, and man, it was so crazy walking up and seeing that yellow piece of paper on my like the door window.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, what? I had been sending her money while I was deployed. So I think, you mentioned I went to Kandahar maybe.
Yeah.
But when I was there, I was making buku, freshly E5 staff sergeant, on my 6th year. And I was sending my mom some money and to help pay for her mortgage. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to get out. I'm going to come live with you. And then I come home and I see this freaking stick. Oh, man, it was so frustrating. I was angry and then really sad because once I opened the door, my mom was like waterworks. So it was just a lot of like, it's unexpected. Like you never want things to not go the way you had planned. And then suddenly it's like, holy shit. Like how did I not think that this was a possibility? It's like, it always catches you off guard, I didn't, I thought my mom was okay. She's doing better now, but man, she suffers from depression, a lot. And I really care about her and I haven't been able to. I've kind of been detached in my professional pursuit, but before I could even go to Drexel, I kind of had to make sure she was okay. Luckily, I was going to the community college at the time anyway. Like it's hard to transfer from the military, leaving like your base and then going to a 4-year college. The community college step is easier because then you have basically a better resume. You have more credits to like show your worth with. I tried to apply to UMD before I got out with not much and they declined it. And then again, with a little bit, they declined it. And then Drexel accepted me. So I was like, hell yeah. And they worked with veterans really well. So I would recommend hands down Drexel, and their entire VA program is awesome. They're always there to help. And if you're thinking about moving to Philadelphia and like, how do I go through this? They have a lot of people there that either post in the right places. There's a lot of different networks of people, even the Zoomers, man. And trust me, being older, seeing these kids, it's like, man, I don't want to be around them. Drexel's not bad.
Okay.
UPenn is, but Drexel's.
Oh yeah, they're high end though, man. UPenn, right?
God.
They're up there. I've been to Philly one time. I went to go see my buddy from the Army, and it was raining for like 2 days straight, and they were out there rowing, man. UPenn out there on that whatever that river is, right?
River. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It raining. I was like, dude, it's raining 2 days straight. They're out here both days in the rain, I guess. But like up there, it's kind of normal that it just drizzles and everyone's out doing their own thing. So, but they're out there cold as shit.
On the river.
On the river, yeah. They had all boathouses and stuff out there. Nice city though. Philly's good city, good food and stuff. But Dude, so you mad, you upset at the note on the door. Obviously, I would have done the same
Yeah.
thing. But like, what did you start doing to, dig yourself and your mom out of that? Like, what'd you have to do?
So she was a bit of a hoarder. I had to clean the place up. And then I had to basically assess how can we sell this and short sale. So we avoid the foreclosure and my mom can make some money. Because she had some equity in the property, so I feel like she could at least make something. And she had the house for I want to say 10 years, so it appreciated. The area gentrified a little bit, so she took out of that like I want to say 35 or 60,000. I don't remember, but it helped rather than just getting the boot. And then she ended up finding an apartment in York, Pennsylvania that she seemed to be happy in. My sister was living in above her, but recently my sister moved, and my mom's been kind of living in the apartment alone. So trying to make sure that.
But what are you doing though, man? Let them know what you're doing for your mom and for your family because you came up with a master plan. So
Yeah, it's tough though. Like I've had to be distant, and I don't like it. I'm keeping my head down and being focused with work and school. It's not a good excuse, but we and I don't think we'd be doing this without my wife being able to support us. But we're building a custom house, and that was we kind of came to that because we were looking around for that in-law suite, and it's hard to find things these days. So absolutely. we found a piece of land and a good opportunity, and we kind of have the intention to make an in-law suite of our own with the custom aspect. I'm excited about that. I actually already drafted it in CAD, and so I can look at it virtually and stuff, just because I want to make sure she has a vision, something to at least to dream about, because right now we can't do anything and rush it,
Absolutely, dude. Does she know that you're doing? Does she know already, or did you not?
Oh yeah. She does. I'm trying to like show her the interior design potential, because like I have the layout and everything, and I got to make sure that she's happy with like how I had visioned it. So she wanted always to have a tiny home. Yeah. She wanted to condense because I think I'd mentioned she. I don't want to say she like hoards or anything, but she tends to have a mess. We'll just say that. And I think this new chapter is for her to like kind of relieve herself of that and simplify things quite a bit. Because she has a lot of stuff. She inherited a lot of things, and it's dragged on through the years. She has always downsized. So
I feel you, man. My mom moved after my dad died, so yeah, got to get rid of stuff, dude. We live in the land of people that just love to have everything, man. We're all guilty probably of a little bit, but it's nothing wrong with becoming a little bit more of a minimalist, dude. So hey, respect to you and to your wife for doing what you guys are doing for your mom. That's what we're supposed to do. Take care of our parents. They were there for us. So it's nice to see that you're doing that for her. I'm sure she respects you and loves you for it. So I'm glad that the story just didn't end at the foreclosure sticker. You took action. Excuse me. That's what we all need to do. Just take action. It doesn't matter if you complain. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. No one's coming to save you. So you took it into your own hands and you made it happen. So good for you, man. What did you struggle with the most after getting out the military, minus like coming home to that? Like, were you all good? What'd you struggle with?
Yeah, dude, I did see. I went to the VA probably after about a year because I couldn't focus, and I just felt like I wasn't able to like get the meat of what was going on. I guess I ended up doing all right because I'm very critical of myself. I definitely want to make sure that I'm being the best person I am, and I take feedback seriously. I love feedback. If people can give it to me straight, then do it. If people are a little like condescending and kind of allude to something in a negative way rather than like motivate you, I look down on that. But I think what I struggled with most was confidence that I was actually able to learn what I was learning. I didn't think of myself as the same because I was hanging around some smart guys. There's always smart people in different universities, and I guess I was fortunate to have been brought in by them because I was older by 6 years, so that was kind of strange. But They helped me make sense of things, and I gave them a lot of perspective too on like the functional aspects. I gave them industry knowledge. Like I talked to about like shooting wires on an F-16 and like replacing relays and switches because it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I miss it today. I would go back for a couple days if I could, but I don't know how much good I would do. I think the kids these days are doing just fine. TOs are still there. All the things that I learned are there. It's like, have you ever heard of or read the book, The Art and Zen of Motorcycle Maintenance?
No, sir. I'm far from maintenance, but I never heard of that one. It's good. It's a good one. I mean, I'll put it on the list, man. I'll read it.
It's awesome. It gives you that kind of, I think it's Jack Kerouac. I don't know. It gives a good perspective that like you got to embrace the process. And that's kind of what I am. I'm a visionary. I try to look at things like 10 years ahead. But at that time I was like, man, I don't know if I'll make it in a year. I thought I was going to fail. I got like 20% on exams just because that's the way it is. The curve is strong for everyone. Everyone gets 30s. Some people get like 90s. Those are the super smart guys.
1%, the 1% of the class. Yeah.
Yeah. But they lacked the functional application. Right. So like they got the science and math, but they didn't make as good of relations on like the humanitarian side.
Right.
Anything HR, they're like, what?
Yeah, but you had that from the military, right? And you're
yeah. You
already had that. So you just had to get into the books, which, you know, what did you do that made you get over doing the 20s and 30s? Obviously it's study and hard work, I would probably guess, but you know, did you do anything? Did you study with people, try to get around other people in your class and get at it together? Or what'd you do?
I had a good routine.
Okay, absolutely.
Once you get the week, like your course week,
yeah,
like a couple times. So I guess how many quarters did I attend? I think it was like 12 quarters or something.
Okay.
Could it have been 12? I don't freaking remember. 6 plus 10. 10 quarters, I think, is what I did. But I had 10 iterations to perfect a routine because I could choose what time my classes were to work in a gym time, study time, and that was my job. I woke up, I fed myself, I exercised by going to school because I would live at least 3 miles away at a time since I was in Philly. But now to get to school would take me about 8 miles. So I ride my bike to work, and that's about 8 miles. Round trip is 15.
Okay.
Just having a routine has helped me, I think, maintain like mental structure to keep me focused on like what I've been learning. I think as we aged, like I think maybe I was a little immature when I was 18, because I wasn't focused enough or like disciplined enough. But now with the structure, like I'm talking about, and the routines in your day, it makes it easier to find time to like be a sponge on like you just get this opportunity to truly focus and pick something up, like sit down, learn how to woodwork, sit down, learn how to do 3D CAD on Google SketchUp to model something. There's just a lot of different things you can learn. And as you get older, I think you get better with time management. So you just learn more.
Did you ever fall out of a routine when you first got home, or did you already have it going?
I'm out of a routine right now, man. It sucks.
No, I feel you. Me too, man. I don't have the best one either, dude. So I guess like it's like a double-edged sword because like when you're not going to PT and work the flight line, the DFAC all day, then you know you kind of get you can have control of your time. You don't have to get up so early. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you're absolutely right, dude. Like a routine is vital, man. You know, you can't just really wing it every day. You're not really gonna get too much stuff done. So, and what about when you out processed from the Air Force, from Germany? Like, what did you go? Did you go through TAPS or Soldier for Life or whatever they call it?
They had me down. I actually was like, I got to like do a mini TDY down to Ramstein for a week.
Okay.
They just did all the medical tests on me. Basically, I got there on a Monday, and then I left on a Friday because they in-process you and then chop up the program so that they can fit everyone in for the remainder of the week. But that was interesting. I got a pulmonary test. I liked that. That was like where they see your lung capacity. I feel like
Yeah.
we didn't do that in basic or anything. So I was like, how do they gauge? How do they know? I didn't know what it was for, but then I did the hearing one, and that was interesting too. They take like this weird radar that beams around in there and tells you what like how terrible your ears are. But
How'd you do all that? Because you worked on the flight line, dude. Was yours done or what?
Oh, F-16s are a whistle, dude. It was like, yeah, I can hear the ring today. No, I have tinnitus. I do hear the ring today, and it sucks. But I also think that maybe I had a little bit of tinnitus before I joined. But they're covering their ass. They didn't do anything to check what did I have when I joined. They're just like, oh fuck, look at this guy's eardrums. My mom, that's actually one of her inhibitors. She can't hear well. She has tinnitus. She has ringing. She has static, and it definitely makes her more concerned or self-conscious being in public because she has to say what a lot. I do too, so I'm looking forward to that. No, I'm an audiophile. I think I'll get the bone conduction things.
Did you get service connected for the tinnitus?
Yeah, I'm on 10%. It was like before I got out.
Okay, that's good. That's good that you got that opportunity to do that, man. I left that all on the table, so like I was telling you before, but
they documented me for PTSD. It's in there, so I can control F, find in the PDF and hit PTSD, and it comes up. So I started that a claim, but I don't know how it works. I'm a little too reactionary in some situations. I'm pretty fucking tense, and it's just coming to light that like sometimes I need to relax. And if things are getting tense for me, it's really hard to relax. And I think that's kind of part of the demeanor. When you have like those emergent events happen and you have that emergency reaction, you start to like get ready for it, just all in your head, So
fight or flight all day, man. Yeah, you've been to Afghanistan twice, dude. So it's like I said, if you need any help with that, I'd be more than happy to help you. I got 50% at first for like mental health, then I reopened it because I think as time went on, stuff got worse, man. So that it's there for you if you need it, because like you said, it's already in your records. You're not lying. You've been to war. You've been there. So
they noted it in like a sense, I think, just for liability. Like if I went into a 7-Eleven and just went like schizophrenic suddenly, like
that's what they said that for.
Yeah. I feel like I'm fine. I don't want to like if they gave me 100%, I'd be like, okay, well, I have to give all this to charity or something, because that's a lot. Yeah, I would definitely give some to charity, but just a little bit, I think, is reasonable. And I don't understand the full effects of the poor air exposure. I think that might have something to do with anything that I'm feeling.
Okay.
Because I definitely I have like a little bit more dermatitis and folliculitis, different skin shit, and a little bit of psoriasis. And maybe we're just getting old. I don't know. But I've read that the poor air, the burn pits, could be related to skin issues. And I definitely was running out doing CrossFit. I was doing it all in Kandahar, man. I actually have like at that Kandahar box, I have like a year's worth of WODs in a spreadsheet.
Were you sunbathing at the poo pond too?
No, I never sunbathed. No, I worked night shift, so I was basically asleep during the day.
Dude, night shift's horrible, man. I did it as contracting. You just try to sleep when everyone else is slamming doors. If you had your own chuba, I lived in a tent in Africa, and that was miserable. The air conditioners going out all the time, people coming and going. How was it? How was night shift for you over there? Do you adapt to it well, or what? How was it like?
Scary. You look off into the darkness, imagining like can I see the rocket? I'm gonna see it. If it's coming, I'm gonna see it. And no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Nah, you just gotta be in fucking bunkers, Kandahar, all hours of the night, half asleep, crawling out to the bunker, dude. It's wild, man. Gotta love it. You miss that, right? That's the parts you miss. Fridays, boardwalk. You know how they got down.
Did you go to the UK Chow Hall, the English Chow Hall, the one that was close to the boardwalk?
Never been to that one.
Oh,
We only
dude.
like passed through Kandahar, so we flew
Oh,
out of
okay.
there and flew in there.
Okay.
But was it pretty good?
Oh, they had like feta that you could put on your omelets. Oh my! And you could do actual real egg white, not fake egg white omelets. And so, dude, we had it good. Oh man, I think they even had shrimp sometimes that they could put on the omelet. Crazy. It was
You would
good.
step it up, man. I gotta come on. Look at
They
make it
they
insane.
had lox too. I never liked smoked salmon until that trip. Lox
Man.
is good.
Yeah, boxes get real good. Yeah, gotta love the deployments, man. But what kind of jobs did you end up getting after you got when you got your degree and everything? Would you
Oh
pursue?
yeah. So I guess I hopped around a little bit, trying to find my forte or my calling in life a little bit. I was comfortable as a engineer, but I didn't think that I contributed a lot of technicality. It was more so like being a positive vibe or a good communicator. I was always enthusiastic and trying to be experimental, but yeah, my once I got out of the military, I did a little bit of moving for a friend of mine for some extra cash before I left for Philly, and then once I was at Drexel, my head was down. I was a full-time student, getting BAH, which really helped. But Drexel actually has a co-op program, so you can apply for a 6-month job rotation. So that's 2 quarters of the year that you do a co-op, and then you do two quarters, and then you do another co-op. So I did 2. My first one was at NASA for a laser communications relay demonstration, which was pretty awesome. That was optical, wireless, telecom, so broadband. But
Okay.
yeah, we that was really cool to be a part of. I helped one of the smartest guys I've ever met, Dr. Scott Merritt. Man, this guy was outstanding. He was also enthusiastic, but his level of technical understanding was just beyond belief. He had a PhD in photonics and signal processing, and he was old school. He used MathCAD a lot. He showed me how to develop it's called a 72 tap equalizing filter. Basically, it's just a digital processing unit that takes the signal of the laser and discombobulates it, processes it.
Okay.
Really cool. Seeing that implemented and like seeing on an oscilloscope the different wavelengths that you just manipulated, the power of the spectrum, all that. So that was really cool. But I didn't really like the civilian work life. Also, I didn't want to live in Greenbelt, Maryland. So I had an option. I could have went back to do another co-op, but I wanted to kind of explore Comcast. I already had this lined up in my head that I'm going to do this and I'm going to dominate because I'm going to be comfortable. Like NASA was tough to keep up with, and they don't pay well. So I was like, I'll go commercial and see if I can get paid more and like do more. So I was actually a network engineer at the National Distribution Center in New Jersey for all CMTS devices on the business side. So I would get boxes and boxes, like I'm talking 100,000 boxes. I must have plugged in with an Ethernet cord, powered on, see if they boot, reset, update the firmware, clean them off, sticker them up, pack them out. Probably about 100,000. That's
a lot of boxes.
yeah, it was a lot. I actually enjoyed that. That was kind of cathartic. Same thing with the motorcycle maintenance. It was like you could just like have your process and move along, plugging stuff in and getting your technical aspects. And I was good at it. I then had to apply for a job at Comcast. I hit my boss up. I was like, you hiring? You got jobs? He's like, no, man, I don't have anything right now. You got to just keep your ear to the ground. So I was just applying, and I actually I had been doing coding at the time for my senior design project, a little bit of C++, not much, a little bit of C# and Python. And I had already taken some coursework for Java. So I was comfortable getting a programming job. So I applied for this software development enthusiast position at Comcast. It was right up my alley. It was CMTS, your cable management cable modem termination system. That's basically how you get internet, but the virtualized portion is what this software development job title had its orientation around. So I got a chance to write C++ for a couple years and learn about that, get into the nitty gritty, essentially the virtual schematics or the digital schematics of software, getting in, writing log algorithms for that, and then also a lawful intercept algorithm, which basically sends out, hey, can I track this MAC address kind of thing. And that burnt out real quick. And I had a terrible boss, and I learned because like I was always hoping that I could find like the perfect team. I wanted to be somewhere where it was just great. I liked everyone.
Right.
It's not possible. And this is where
There's always one, dude. Always.
Yes. So I have this I think it's just Star Wars lore. But that I think it's Yoda says it. He says that the Sith, there can always be one, no more, no less. So it's like you get rid of one Sith Lord, you're gonna have another one.
Yeah.
So I left Comcast for a brief hiatus. I maintained doing software development and coding, and I was sold the dream in a bad way. They told me I was going to do project management, product management, and it didn't end up being that way. I was working long nights writing code, and it was tough. So I got away from that and really focused on program management, because my prior teams had told me that that was my calling, saying that I was just good at managing or picking up the slack when we went through 4 iterations of management and 4 different Scrum Masters. So in their absence, I was always just kind of like an organic stand-in. And that helped kind of see where I shine. So I found out that I think I'm decent at program management. I just got my PMP. I was excited about that, testing and studying for that quite a bit. But now I'm comfortable. I think this is where I belong. And I'm excited about being on like a bleeding edge team. Like, we really do innovative stuff. I can't.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I can't talk about what I'm doing right now. It's confidential, but my previous product was Storm Ready Wi-Fi, which is currently available. I don't want to give an advertisement, but it was really cool to be on a team that got to develop a backup gateway for any of those scenarios that people don't have power or their internet connection goes out. It's your backup plan.
No, you gotta have that, man. You got a business, or I live in Florida, so definitely got storms down here, man. So Wi-Fi and the internet, like you said, it pings off your internet or your cell phone signal or something like that, right? You're telling me? Yeah, that's really interesting to say the least. You always have a backup, even if like the boxes are down or the neighborhood's down. If you got, as long as you get the tower up for the cell phone, I guess you'd be good to go, right? If you had that storm ready Wi-Fi. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Where'd you get your PMP at? Did you use it like a veteran program or anything like that?
So, man, this is always tough. Like, you get a lot of promises in the workforce, and sometimes you have to like press the issue quite a bit before you can get the result that you desire.
Yeah.
So they said they would send me to get my PMP probably for like the first 2 years I was there again as a program manager. And
right.
I kept asking, what's the training? And then I finally was like, I got antsy and bored. I was like, all right, I guess I just need to learn. I'll learn, teach it myself, and I'll apply. I didn't realize, but you can apply to take the PMP exam on the PMI Institute website. Basically, give your justification on what your experience is, and they make the determination on, hey, all right, yeah, you do know your shit. We'll let you test. Sure. So
how was that for you? The whole process and everything. Hey, just give me like 5 seconds. I gotta grab this internet, my cable real quick. Sorry.
You're good. No worries.
I'm here still though.
Oh, okay. It was nice. I had this guy, David McLaughlin. He has a bunch of YouTube videos. I was watching him. He's Australian, and I love the Australian accent. And he just had a lot of good energy to him. So any of the information that he would not verse through. Sorry, I got called out for this. I say verse a lot, and I'm trying not to. Sorry. I was perusing through like his videos, and he just sticks really well. Sorry.
Oh, you good, man? That's so YouTube, man, self-taught pretty much, that's not bad. I thought about doing it when I worked with Booz Allen Hamilton when I was working in Pakistan, but the obligations were if they were to pay for it, you have to commit 2 years, and I wasn't committing 2 years to Pakistan, so I was good on that. But it's something What was something that got you through it, man? Was it just studying and just being interested in the material essentially?
Yeah, I was just bored.
Just bored. Yeah.
No, I honestly, I think my wife, I asked her a couple questions and she's like, yeah, I know the answers. So this is common sense. And I wanted to like prove her wrong. I wanted to find hard questions. I was like, yeah, there's hard questions here that I get right that you wouldn't be able to get right. So I made it like a thing. I wanted to show her, hey, answer this question. One that seems easy, but then throws them off. And that helped. I don't know. I guess I was just like, I found that dude and just would turn that on. If I was ever like doom scrolling, I'd be like, all right, put the phone down.
Absolutely.
And watch this and maybe take some notes.
Yeah.
And
good for you, man. Good for you. You got self-discipline, dude. I like that because it's easy to just scroll away and shit. Hours. It might be hours, man. It might be minutes, might be hours, but like you're doing nothing productive, dude. It's so easy to fall that trap.
I got another life hack for taking notes and learning and shit. I love stationery, dude. Nice paper and a nice pen goes a long way. Makes you want to write it down, makes you feel better while you're writing it. And if it looks better the first time you write it down, trust me, it'll be in your head for a while.
Oh, dude, that's old school. That's what I do too. The same thing. I go write pen and paper. I might not have good handwriting, dude. And I'm a lefty, so all my shit's smudging, but you know.
And everyone has their opinion on like what pen and paper is the best. Just find what you like the most. And that speaks like milestones. It's awesome. Learning that when I was taking notes, like even my calculus notes that I have are like very pretty. And just because I liked writing with that pen on that piece of paper.
So what you using like a Mont Blanc pen and a papyrus? No, I'm messing with you, man. What you got?
I got the rot ring. The rot ring.
Let's go.
Rot ring.
Let's go, man. Rut ring. Let's go.
And then the rhino paper, which is like eco-friendly. It's like one of those save the rhinos kind of thing, but that's my favorite animal. So,
okay. All right. Hey, I want to hit on your goals that you told me about. You told me that you want to provide building blocks for humanity to succeed as a unified race. You're a routine-based futurist with a strong advocacy for automation. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a philosophical guy. I try to this. I think of like I contemplate life, not in like the sense like my life or taking it, but like I contemplate all life. And I try to think like, man, if we see a decline in humanity, is that going to be more depressing for people? So how do we create an environment that is less depressing? It's like you have to be filled with optimism and brightness and color and everything joyful. And it's really hard to think about achieving that. So I'm a very spiritual person. I try to practice Buddhism. One of my favorite pieces of literature is the Shambhala Principle by Mipham Sakyong. He really exemplifies how to carry yourself and how not to seek your goal to like make people happy, but make people feel understood, and how that makes so much more of an impact than trying like to, why aren't you smiling? Like that kind of, no, you have to be compassionate and empathetic. Like empathy goes so long. That's basically, to me, the future of humanity is if everyone turns into empathetic individuals, then we'll be successful. But how do we get there? So I have this whole, it's more of like a Fermi paradox philosophy. It's basically humanity's plan to not be fucked or the exception, that we are actually just on a normal path of evolution. So basically in 500 years, and this is how long I think it's going to take with the assistance of Chat GPT and different tools. It's going to take us about 500 years to reverse what we've done to planet Earth over the past 100 years. So to get us back to 1923, which wasn't even that great then. That was the Industrial Revolution, you know?
Right.
So it's going to take us quite a long while to get like back to be an eco-friendly planet. But in that time also, we're probably going to have a little bit of plateaued technological development. Our microprocessors, you can't like physically get much smaller. So for instance, NVIDIA, they aren't releasing their next generation GPU till 2025. Coincidence?
What they got, yeah.
things are going to slow down, and it's really going to be society's turn to exemplify, like, okay, we can live together, and we got like a millennia to figure that shit out. And then after that, we'll probably be well off enough that we can envision and put together colonizing a new planet. But that commitment is like about 100,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, unless we have like some sort of like close to light speed fusion drive, it's gonna be at least, at the very least, like 1,000 years to get to somewhere that we don't even know. And it's like a set it and forget it. You don't get to like get there and turn around. Like, you are going there to colonize, and if you can't,
it's like coming over on the Mayflower, dude. You're not going back. You're either gonna make it or break it. Yeah, type of deal. But you might be on Mars this time. But dude, I don't know. I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on this one right here. We're not that old, probably in our 30. You're probably 30 something, right? So like from when we were 15, 16 years old till now, man, just say 20 years, call it. Like, it doesn't look like everything's going in the right direction, man. You know what I mean? Now, granted, don't turn the news on and just push that shit down your throat because it's all negative. We all know that. But at the same time, you don't have to really go too far. I mean, you said you lived in Philly. All you got to do is go over to Kensington and see what's popping off on there. That's all on YouTube. You know what I mean? You already know.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like, we're going the wrong way, man. But what has to happen? What do you think would have to happen for us to get back on track, man? Even just in America, you know, as a population.
Unity is big. Honestly, I think we are in a better place than it might be. It might come off as. There's a lot of these luxury brands that generate a lot of revenue that are big into sustainability. It's going to be, I don't know, like I said, like a societal shift. Social media is evolving, and I think that's going to make a lot of pushing, or a lot of decisions, and like how we fare off. I think it's necessary. I don't like saying that. I do not like saying that. But I think it's necessary. We got a big virtual front coming. We're just off the age of information, and we're just starting the age of automation.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I think there's going to be a lot of tools that we can use to better humanity, derived from AI. The taxi cab, like, that's going to basically, eventually, it should make motor vehicles common, like an internet connection. You subscribe to your vehicle service, and I think they'll have different tiers of vehicle service. Some might let you drive, but you have to pay for that. But ones that are cheap are going to be the ones that like do shit that just make people more efficient with less.
Right. You might have that. The new Uber Black's going to be a drone, man. You know what I mean? They're coming up, dude. Like, smart cities are really big. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I've seen some presentations and been to some events, and you know, smart cities and like 3 cubic mile, all type of crazy stuff with drone ports. And so, like, you're right, man. We're in for like a world of change, and it's going at a faster pace, it seems like, than normal. So it's an interesting time to be alive, I suppose, right?
Yeah. You can definitely gamble with like the like what's going to happen next in society.
For real.
Like, sports, honestly, I think sports have been more chaotic, but I also think that it seems more chaotic because we have more analysis and data to give, like, all these different charts, spikes here and there. All the metrics that we're following for football and sports, it's just crazy to see the chaos, which I think is organic. It's normal. It's normal that things are chaos.
Yeah, you're right. Controlled chaos at its finest, man. That's every restaurant in every restaurant in the world. Every kitchen's controlled chaos, man. So it's all over.
Oh,
dude, sports is something else, man. Sports is just not the same as it used to be, dude. Like, everyone's coming on super teams, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I seen a video. I don't know if it's conspiracy theory or not, but I'll throw it out there because I saw it yesterday. It was trying to say how the NBA balls have magnets in it, and so with the rims, because dude, Steph Curry was throwing shots from like full court, and they were all just going in. We know Steph Curry can shoot, but
he's wet. He's just disgustingly wet,
or magnetic, one of the two. I don't know.
No, dude,
dude. I'm gonna find the video and send it to you, and you let me know what you think.
Okay. I like to debunk.
There you go. Let's go, man.
Dude,
Hey, what would you say to someone like yourself, or it doesn't even matter, even if they're not like they're still in the military, on just on the whole thing about having a plan, getting out, what would your little pep talk be to a service member right now, or even a veteran that just got out?
Definitely be ready to improvise. You're going to get caught off guard 100%. You're definitely like the more ready you are for plan B, C, D,
For real.
the more successful you'll be. I mean, you just need to be ready for it and have fun with it. Don't be a stickler. Don't like take a deep breath once in a while. If things are going really good, go watch like The Green Mile or Shawshank Redemption, shed a tear or two, and then get back to business.
Yeah.
Make sure you have everything equalized. So if you encounter stress, make sure you keep it under control. Don't let it get to 100. Keep it cool.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough, but if you keep telling yourself that you have another plan, then you'll be all right when you didn't have a plan, because at least you had a million other freaking plans that you versed through in the past. You'll be like, yeah, I'll be all right. That's the reality of it.
Did you ever have anyone try to use scare tactics on you when you're getting out of the military, like saying, "Hey, what are you going to do when you get out? You sure you want to get out?" Did you have any of that like that?
Mm-mm.
No.
I got in an argument with my supervisor because his dad. I was like, I'm going to get a degree in electrical engineering. He's like, no, you're not. And like, just out of jealousy, he's like, my dad's an electrical engineer. I'm like, oh, okay. What does he do? And he's like, oh yeah, he like does like he installs it in houses. I'm like, he's an electrician. And he like died on that grave. And I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, no, I think his dad was an electrical engineer of a construction capacity, and we got in a big fight about it. I owe him a sincere apology. I was bitter, and I never got to sign his like going away present. You sign everyone's memorabilia to like leave a note and respect. Yeah. I didn't do that.
What would you tell him right now if you could talk to him?
I've talked to James since then. I'd be like, but I don't think he knows that I know that I didn't sign it. And I would definitely, I've thought about it. I was like, damn, and this is before COVID, of course, when I'm starting to get financial stability where I can actually adventure on my free time. Now I have kids and I can't, but I would have went to his house and been like, hey, can I sign that? Like being in Utah, been like, hey man, I'm going to be up here. Let's meet up, go snowboarding. And then I would have went back and been like, I need to sign this, dude.
What's up, man? We all go through that stuff and look back. I said something I shouldn't have said or done something I shouldn't have done, but it's life.
It happens, like you said, right? So much.
Much. You always been a goal setter?
Yeah. And I've always tried to like maximize. Like I wanted to do some self-exploration, like figure out, because like I said, I like feedback. I'm not like super cocky that I'm like, oh, I'm this person and I can do this, that, and the other. I'm not that guy. Yeah. I have to like really, 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 really wash the dishes a few times before I know a bowl's a bowl, and where to put it when I'm done with it, that kind of thing. I think I have my fair share of encounters that I regret.
Oh, you good, man. But the goal is great, man. A lot of people have dreams, but if you don't put it on paper, you get that nice pen out, that nice paper, put it down, man. Like you said, once you start doing that, you're going to put it into your subconscious mind and you're going to start working towards those things, even if it's like going back on the daily routine. I used to like to write a lot of stuff down in a notebook just to put it out there and put it on the paper and just have my mind start working on it. It's something I got to get back doing, man. It's because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. So you're going to do something that's a little bit longer. Your hand might cramp or, whatever the case may be, or you just don't want to sit on your phone and scroll. But, that's cool talking to other people like yourself that, that are striving to be great and you're trying to reach your full potential. So it seems, and it looks like you're doing a good job at doing it. So
get ridiculous with it. It can be impractical. It's your dream. It's
absolutely
fun.
Dude. Absolutely.
I'll take all the slack I get. I still have this vision, because I'm building the custom house, but I tell my friends, I'm like, I'm going to build a concrete dome house. That's what I want. I still want that. I'm going to do it. I think maybe. No, I got to learn more, but I think I can do it if I learn enough.
Shoot, you might have to come down here and help me with my dream and my vision, building a veteran retreat, have some stuff down here, even tiny homes, even if it's some tiny homes, have them come down here. Maybe we talk about business or life and take them to a baseball game, take them to the beach, take them out on a boat, just do life, man, because there are people out here doing stuff like that. So maybe that's something we could do in the future, man. You never know. You know what I mean?
As long as we can model it after a future colony in space, otherworldly.
It's gonna be a futuristic Mars prototype colony, dude. We already got the name for it. Let's go.
Hey, I think the extreme modernism is hitting right now. People, like a lot of celebrities, a lot of these bigger houses, they're leaving the old colonial and like the Roman style houses.
Yeah,
they're starting to simplify, minimalize, and linearize. Like all those clean floors, open countertops. They're catching on. It's
dude. What do you? Okay, you know all about it because you're in the military and you like to do all this stuff with housing. Like even with shipping containers, you can make something amazing, dude.
Yeah.
You get a couple of those, fuse those together. But like now, that's the demand for that's gone out the roof. So prices are astronomical. You know, $200,000-$300,000 for some containers that are fused together, delivered to your door. What used to probably be like $2,000 a container is now so much more. COVID demand. So, but yeah, I have no handyman skill whatsoever. But I have the vision, you know what I mean? Like that's all. You get 100 containers, dude, and start having someone go to work on that. You might just need the land. You'd be good to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of good real estate opportunities out there. I think that's awesome. My cousin actually he was going to do the container build, but it became unfeasible. They ended up finding, I think they got like 20 or 30 acres in Colorado. They're in Pitkin, so it's like they're out there. They're like smack dab in the middle of Colorado.
Okay.
But they have a south facing, almost near, they're like in the middle between the summit of the mountain, but they've got like a nice quaint road they can drive up, and they built a cabin there about 700 square feet. They're going to power it with solar, and they have like a water cistern. I don't know if they have a rain catching, but they have a septic system up there because you have to. But through and through for like 700 square foot cabin, open air. It's really awesome. They're on Instagram at Gothic Mountain Jewelers, but they are, I think it's like, I don't know if it's bad juju to talk about pricing, but I think their cabin is going to end up costing them a little over six figures, maybe at 6.5. I don't know.
Plus the land.
Don't quote me on it.
No, you're good.
Yeah. No, with the land, I would think.
With the land. It's a nice setup though, man. You know, everything 6 figures nowadays. It's a new price tag for everything. Huh?
It's surreal. It's beautiful where they live, and they're doing such a good job too. My cousin did some years as a mason, and it shows. They're doing really good work.
Okay, yeah.
He's also been like really crafty growing up. So he's always had a knack for doing things well.
We might need to tap into him too for the color colony, dude.
He was actually a Knowles instructor as well. He's kind of the inspiration as to why I went on that DNT tour in Norway. I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Dude, you might like this one bushcraft school. It's in Maine. One of my buddy Gene from the Navy told me about it. You go up in Maine. I'll send you the link. I got to look up the name. I forget it off the top of my head, but you go out. There's a snow one where you can go trekking in the snowshoes, but there's another one you can go down the river like in the spring or the summer, and you like set up base camp and you fish and you do all that stuff, and like it's a couple, maybe 2 weeks or something like that. But that seemed like a pretty badass opportunity.
2 weeks, yeah, that's not bad.
2 weeks, yeah. So
you just like chill by like a water side, and is it like a retreat you're talking about?
Not a retreat. Like it's like a bushcraft school. You go out and learn how to build stuff like with the branches and all that. Yeah.
Oh,
like
full,
okay. Not no sissy
cool.
shit. Like, yeah, that's why I said it, because I figured you'd like it because you seem like you're into that stuff. So yeah, I'll send you the link to it, and they even take GI Bill, dude.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, you get paid BH to get out there.
I exhausted mine.
You using all? That's all good, man.
I actually my last quarter at Drexel, I audited the classes. I didn't need them. I started working already. I didn't have my degree yet, but I knew I was going to get it. So I like took all the classes I would have taken. They were like hard classes, and I audited them. So I still read up on and tried to do the homework. I just wasn't pressured. So sometimes I didn't do the homework at all.
I don't blame you, dude. Can't go wrong on that. You're already done, man. Just trying to get that last BAH check and right out to the sunset. Dude, nothing wrong with that.
I got guilt tripped by one of the professors because you need to get their signature. Like, hey, is it okay if this student audits your class? I was like, yeah, I'm just doing this so that I can get my BH entitlement. And he was like, really, man? I'll sign this, but I don't approve. I was like, dude.
Okay. Like, that's all right.
Man.
Exactly. I was going to ask you one more thing. and then I'll open it up for you to do whatever you would like to do. Did you use any VA tools when you got out the military? VA loan, or obviously you used the GI Bill. You had that lined up. Anything else though?
Yeah, the house I'm living in right now in Philadelphia, I use my GI Bill. You need proof of income, so that was like, I wanted to actually buy my mom's house when I got out, but I didn't have income, so I couldn't do that. And I tried, and that's tough to swallow, to know that you can't do that. But
Yeah,
that made me know and accept that, like, all right, well, if I really want to make a difference, I have to really put my head down. It wasn't always my goal that I was going to have to build this house for my mom, but I think it just matured the way it did, and now I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity. Like I said, it's majorly because my wife. She's a physician. She is actually working right now, so she works nights, works her ass off. She provides for this family. I do okay too, but she's the difference maker. But I actually she was still in her residency when I got my job, so I bought this house with the VA mortgage. So I didn't have her assistance. I had to do this first, but like I said, you had to have proof of income.
right.
And then once I did, man, they really wanted to give me this mortgage. They were like, hell yeah.
And ready for it. Guaranteed. The VA loan, guaranteed. They're ready to get that guaranteed money, man.
It dipped like a percent. I think my first interest rate was like 4.75, and then it dipped to like 3.85. I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's good. Thanks. Like, this is weird that you're reaching out to me because I'm beneficial. Like, this is my benefit. And then they reached out again when it got to 2.25. So right now, on this house, I'm paying 2.25, dude. And I'm like, I'm never going to sell this. What? Why would you?
Dude, you're borrowing at such a low rate. That's the thing with the real estate market now. People that have, there's like 40% of the population have a interest rate under 4%, dude. They're not coming off that money. You know, my house, luckily, I bought it sight unseen, and when I was working in Africa, and I got a 3.125. It's like, nice. Dude, and then the house went up $200,000 in 2 years. Dude.
There you go.
So it's like,
equity,
I'm renting it out, and I didn't even know I could use it. Dude, I got to use my disability, stuff like that, and I was able to buy my other house that I'm living in now, and with my with my VA loan, with no money down, no PMI, no nothing, dude. So everything's working out. I'm like you. I want to build a real estate portfolio and, set our kids up, dude. Why not?
It's a very smart decision, and I think about the humanitarian aspect of this, because I think that some people that are like real estate moguls, you're probably not a good person, because there's no way that you can delicately manage the houses if you have that many. Even like paying another manager, you got to know who they are. But I think these days moving forward, we're actually going to be providing a decent opportunity. It's like we're sitting on these low interest rates, and it doesn't make sense to sell the house. We would want to rent it out, but we could rent it out affordably. Absolutely. And it would be a nice option for someone that's kind of stuck in this. This is shitty for everyone. No one's getting a mortgage right now. If it's getting to be 7.5, 8% again, oh man. Our the house we're building, the custom house, we locked in November and carried that until May, when we finally couldn't carry our rate of 5.75. But even then, like, we saw it going up. We signed the mortgage. We were like, all right, that's fine. And then we still haven't broken ground yet, but that's coming soon. I'm excited. I think we're actually going to break ground in the next month. But it's been a freaking journey. So there too, you have another VA benefit. They don't tell you this, but you can have 2 VA mortgages. So if it goes below 5.75, or we find one at 5.75, from a VA perspective, I might switch mortgages, refinance to VA. That's kind of just the normal to-do list, but we have a 8-year ARM, so it'll go up interest every year after 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's good though, man. You must be excited about getting that custom house going, dude. That's pretty badass, man.
It's been a journey in itself. Yeah, it's stressful. That process, just be ready for the endure it. You think like it's gonna go bad every step of the way.
I'm tapping into you, man. I got you to fall back on. You're going through it now. So if I ever get my house going, I'd like to do the same thing. But land down here in Florida has just gone through the dude. You can't find nothing. You can't find anything, dude.
A lot of people are moving to Florida. It's weird.
everyone, dude. You wouldn't even know it unless you were here. You're like, holy shit. I live in. They're building thousands and thousands of houses, subdivision. We're all like 8 feet apart from each other, so it's a double-edged sword, man. It's a nice place to be, but a lot of HOAs, a lot of CDD fees. Depending on where you are, and like, dude, a quarter acre of land in Northport, which is not even really developed anymore, it's probably about 30,000, and it's not even cleared, dude. So I don't know.
We paid $250 for this acre.
$250
for the new lot, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty high too, then. But yeah, man, you got to pay to play nowadays.
So we're PA Northeast. This is the reality. $15,000 a year for school tax.
School tax? What?
School tax.
You got to move to Florida, dude. Get down here, man. What you waiting on?
Yeah, my wife is close to family here. I wanted to move out west. I told you I loved Utah. Utah is awesome. I would have loved to live in Arizona. I don't care about the heat. I love the heat. Working nights in Afghanistan, I would wake up to bathe in the heat. It was awesome.
For real.
I loved it. Actually, we would go to work like mid-afternoon. So I would walk in at like 3 p.m., the peak of the day, and that's when everyone else went home.
They all headed
was a bitch.
To the British deep to eat shrimp fucking po' boys or something.
Yeah, shrimp egg white omelets with feta.
Can't go wrong, man. We'll get you back over there if you need to be. We'll get you back over there. Let's see if they still got that DFAC up.
Maybe if they need better broadband. I'm hoping to be at Comcast for quite some time. I really like what I do.
It's good.
Like the Sith Lord mentality remains true. There's always one.
Hey, as long as it's not you, you're good to go, right, man? I didn't even ask him. Did you get promoted after you going through all those managers, six different bosses? Did they just finally give it to you and say, "Dude, why don't you just take it"? No.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Would you want that position? Like, what do you see your trajectory going as far like in Comcast? Where do you see yourself in a couple years?
I like to teach. I like to be a subject matter expert, and I like to innovate and automate. So I don't know if the role is really named yet, but it would be a principal manager of sorts.
Okay.
So like if I could be, I think there's one label called like engineering operations. Yeah, my boss is the director of engineering operations. If I could be a fellow or a principal of engineering operations, that would be cool. But I don't know if I want to have subordinates and go the leadership route. I'm pretty comfortable being just like a master of craft versus getting into that political seat. I like performance reporting. I'm happy to do it, especially with Air Force experience, having subordinates. I chose my subordinates. I was like, I want these troublemakers. And they were like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'll change them. And I just
do the same thing at Comcast, man. You might be able to do the same thing at Comcast.
Yeah, you can. You can be a mentor. You don't have to be their boss. So I'm starting that process. I'd like to be a mentor, but the problem is I'm not. I'm a PM3, so they have like the numerical hierarchy. If I can be a PM4, I think that's when I can be a mentor. But I'm limited right now. I'm not at that level yet. I can get a mentor, but I can't mentor someone.
Okay, all right, you're on the right track though, man. So not bad. What you want to? I'm gonna open it up to you, man. Did we miss anything? Did we leave anything out that you might want to add on to?
No, I promote transparency. I think that just being clear with what your desires are, or your point, your plan, your direction, your motivations, everywhere you go, like wear it on your sleeve. Like I think that's the best way to do things. It's really hard, and if you try to go out in public and be a bad person and hide it, it's tough. Yeah, I can see it. Everywhere I go, I'm like, that guy's sketchy. Like, I don't even have to look at you. You're in my peripheral and you look sketchy. I see it. And that's a lot of the practice of like situational awareness that we learn in the military, just being applied to having an edge and having a tool ready at all times. Just not in like defense, but verbal, maximizing your situation, seeing something, an idea come to you, to your point, writing it down when an idea comes to you when you're out, like just, and then you'll be thinking about something later. Oh man, I know everyone has one of those songs that you forgot, but you know the tune, but you can't Google the lyrics because you don't know the lyrics. You just know the tune. and you just drive yourself crazy. But if you written it down, you'd have a new favorite song somewhere.
Dude, you make a good point though with writing stuff down, because a lot of people say every year you're going to get one or two ideas that may change the trajectory of your life, business, financial, whatever the case may be. But you're right. If we don't write that stuff down, you're going to forget it. And then you're going to like, oh, well, maybe I thought about that 10 years ago and someone might have already came up with it. So great point on that. And honestly, I just want to tell you, thank you for, coming on here, being vulnerable, sharing your experiences. Thanks for doing what you're doing for your mom. I'm sure she's happy for you. And realistically, I wanted to tell you it's great to see like you and your wife do your thing, because it's, you said she's the breadwinner, but realistically, you guys are both doing it together. So absolutely. So don't shortfall yourself on that. And appreciate your service, dude. We didn't even touch on the F-16 ride, bro. What the hell are we talking about? Hold on now, man. We got to touch on this F-16 ride. We got everyone like riled up, man. We just like went off for a whole hour.
Oh, sorry.
But no, you good, dude. But how did you end up getting to ride in the F-16?
Oh yeah. So while I was deployed in Korea, we went TDY quite a few times. They went to Guam. I didn't get to go. I think it was because I was in processing or something too soon. But we went to a different place in Korea. We actually went TDY in Korea a few times. Korea has F-16s. There's a lot of them there. But then we went to a Operation Northern Watch in Eielson, 2 months long of training with just NATO jets. And our jets were not breaking at all. We already had like an incentive plan to have like 4 people getting a ride. Everyone got rides on this freaking TDY, dude. It was the TDY to be on. But I knew Captain Dalton. He's probably a colonel by now. But since I'm an avionics technician, I would basically catch the jets wearing headphones with the boom and be like, "Hey, sir, what's your code 3? I've got like a flight control radar 112, and that's like the fault code." So then I would tell them, "All right, that's good," and I would go walk in supply, get the box, bring it back out, do the operational checkout, green up the jet so he can fly it probably 3 hours later, that kind of thing. But I had that rapport with this pilot, and he took me for my incentive ride, and that was awesome. Because I had the clearance, it wasn't just an incentive ride. I was a mission. I didn't do anything. I just sat there. I didn't know what the heck I'm doing, but I was a part of a mission. So he got to actual dogfight people. He never got killed. So like he was like, "You see this guy? Let's go kick his ass." And it was like, and I pulled like 8.7 G's. And it was just like, I didn't pass out. Awesome experience. But then I'm telling you, the next week, you got to give it up to pilots, fighter pilots, especially. The next week, my whole body felt like I was Gumby or something. Something happened. I got abducted. It was so strange to feel those G's, and then you're back on Earth and your body's still like, huh? Yeah.
Bro, I would have passed out. I can't even do a fucking roller coaster, dude, without almost falling out. I can't. It would be awesome to do it. Helicopters were cool in the art. Actually, helicopters were not as bad as I thought they were going to be, but yeah, they're not pulling no G's like that, dude. That must have.
I was in good shape.
That's good, man. You dog fighting up there like fucking Tom Cruise, dude. Let's go.
It was sick. It was because I knew the instruments and how they work, so I'm like looking at the MFDs, the multifunctional displays on both sides. Hemix, I didn't have the Hemix on, but he had it on. Hemix's helmet mounted queuing system, so he can like look and click the button and lock onto a target, and then like send the simulated missile for the kill, that kind of thing. It was cool just to like be a part of that, and it really gave me, like, honestly, when I landed, I was like, dude, I respect you guys so much more now. And I never did. I was like, man, these guys come down in code 3. They didn't know to recycle power, idiots. But you get like super like loopy after doing that type of shit, dude. It's just like
I can only imagine, dude. I can only imagine. When you told me that you got that ride, I got to ask you about it, because I know someone like me, I get sick on a cruise, bro. I can't help it, man. I need Dramamine patches or something, but that's a pretty cool experience, dude. But yeah, man. So like I was saying, just appreciate you coming on and sharing no problem, sharing your story. And if you ever want to come back on, or if you ever got anyone that wants to share their story, I'd be more than happy to have them on here. And for all the listeners, thanks, for listening in. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. If you guys know anyone, be happy to have them on this show. This is not like scripted or nothing like that. This is just veterans coming on here and sharing their stories, and that's why it's so easy to do, because we all know we miss that camaraderie, we miss that fellowship that we had when we were in. So it's always a pleasure talking to another veteran, and it was a pleasure talking to you today. So thanks for coming on, brother.
Likewise, man. Thanks for listening. For anyone that is hearing me rant and go on rambling tangents, I hope I was well spoken enough. But Michael gave me the opportunity, and I really appreciate that. This is cool stuff, man. Really, I think it's great that people can come and relate.
Absolutely, man. So without further ado, we appreciate y'all. Have a blessed night, and we'll see y'all soon. Take care.
All right.